Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Wasteland 3. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy they're chose to join me today as we take care of the Patriarch's tank. Not necessarily the Patriarch himself. The door is unlocked. You can hear the Patriarch's troops behind it. Open it, and you will be face to face with him. Really? Oh, I thought it was just the tank. Maybe remote controlled or something. I don't know. But we're gonna do it. That's still pretty cool. It wasn't exactly what we wanted.
What have you done? We had a deal.
Oh, you can see the screen over there. Yeah, that wasn't exactly what we wanted, but it was still pretty cool. Yeah, that's, look at that. It's, well, let's find out. There's three options here. It's not the Ranger way to help warlords and dictators, even if they call themselves by prettier names. Like the Patriarch. Is that what he's supposed to... Is that what that's supposed to sound? Because that's not what... Well, it is sort of. Either way. We didn't know the kind of man you were when we made that deal, Buchanan. Now we do. That is a reasonable answer. Your deal with our CEO... No, your deal was with our CEO. We've got our own ideas, and they don't include you. That's really cool as well to say, but I'm going to go with the second one.
What kind of man I am? I'm a man who gets things done. I'm a problem solver. A nation builder, not a nation wrecker like you. For 50 years, I've been the one man keeping civilization alive in the West. No one else has achieved that, not even your vaunted desert rangers. And now, you want to destroy it all? All that's left of old America? For what?
Interesting question. There's four options. For justice, the first one. Your, quote, civilization, unquote, I do a little jig and do air quotes to say civilization, is built on the backs of the people you have wronged. We will not let that stand. The only thing we're here to destroy is your way of doing things. Coloradans? That sounds right. Need a say in the running of Colorado. Yeah. Your ego's so big you think if you die, the world will die with you. Well, yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting thing. Huh. I never thought about that like that. I mean, it is a little, but I also think that's a little bit it's a little bit naive to see dictators as having just people with having a big ego when they say, you know, any attack against me is attack against the country, stuff like that. You know, basically a dictator equating themselves to the country themselves, and rather than them being a servant of the country, which is a little bit more like the original dictators of Rome, for example, were a little bit like that. They were seen themselves as servants, or at least they proclaimed themselves as servants. Their own private thoughts nobody knows, but that was sort of more or less how the dictators worked in the dictatorship part of Rome. But then when the empire came. Is that the name? Is that how it works? Because I know there's four stages of the things. There's the kingdom, there's the republic. I don't know in which order exactly, but either way, the point is, excuse me. A dictator doesn't have to see themselves as the equivalent of God, like the emperor was, or in this case, the equivalent of the country. But when they do, I think it's a little bit naive to see it as their ego being too big to think that, you know, if they die, the world dies with them. Even though that is an interesting analogy. I never thought about it, but I do think that it is naive. I'm not going to go with it, and we'll see. Although, I kind of want to go with it so he takes it down. He has a chance to be like, no, I'm not. It's maybe, I don't know. Anyway, and for all we can grab, Saul, for all we can grab. Oh, that's the answer to why are you doing this? Or what are you doing this for? Yeah. Let's go with the second one, because that is I think the major narrative point. I'm sorry. That's the major narrative point of why people stood against the Patriarch in the first place, and why the wars even started in the first place is the fight for democracy, or at least for elections. But let's go with that. Yeah.
You goddamn children. How naive can you be? Colorado needs a firm hand. Democracy won't work here, Rangers. yet. We're surrounded by madmen and savages.
Yeah, there's these arguments never really hold any water because they're not written to hold water. And I'm not saying that you could write an argument that holds any water, but for this, but it's not. He's not saying anything that makes any sense. It's just I like the subtext here, the only subtext that actually holds a little bit of interest. I think besides just him being I am the supervillain, I am bad. It's him calling us children and naive, which is sort of the same thing. But then specifically the connection with a firm hand and not yet and all that. He sees Colorado, which is actually relatively common in dictators like him. He sees Colorado from a paternalistic standpoint, which also goes hand in hand with his name. And you need a firm hand to lead you and to educate you and punch you in the teeth. But that's the subtext there. But apart from that, it's just him being like it's the whole old tropes of always like being projection in a way and all that, because Madmen and Savages, where he's the madman and savage. Well, actually, he's calculating. He's not portrayed as madman, although he is portrayed as savage, but not as a madman. Yeah, he's not portrayed as that. That's interesting. He's very calculating. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't become madman at the end and just shows to always have been mad, because that way at least there's a little bit more character to him rather than necessarily just being the unveiling of the reality of Colorado as you play through the game. But yeah.
I almost want to step aside and watch you try democracy here. The first war band that comes out of Kansas, boom! Elections canceled, martial law is instituted, and you're the next patriarch for life.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, I see what he's trying to say. No, I don't actually. I was gonna say, what are you talking about? First when he said martial law is instituted, I thought like the war band from Kansas would institute martial law, and I'm like, no, that's not how any of it works. The reason why martial law exists, in a sense, or rather, obviously, it's a different thing. It doesn't exist in some other countries. For example, here in Portugal, we don't have any way to institute that. Like it's not a law. It's not. You can't do that. But in other countries, it exists. Like in the U.S. in specific, it does exist. There is a certain what's the word? Not providence. What's the word? It's a certain thing in the Constitution that allows for the institution of martial law, and what that is or the reason why it works like that is because the military has a different judicial status from the rest of the country. Basically, the distinction between a military person and a civilian person is very, very different. Whereas in other countries, it is not as different as it is in the U.S. And so what that does is that they always have their law of their own. The military does in the United States, and there are certain like immunities and a bunch of other things. It's kind of complicated, and I don't know how to exactly it works. I'm not going to go into detail, but the point is, the martial law always exists for certain people in the United States, and it's the ones that are martial. Martial just comes from Mars. It's a Martian law, basically. It's another way of saying it. In Mars is the god of war of Romans, and that's where it's the law of war. It's the law of the people who do war. That's what martial means. Is it written like that? It is, isn't it? Yeah. No, it is not. Wait a minute. Am I just now noticing that it's not written like that? Wait, let me look it up. Fucking hell, In Exile. How did you do that typo? My god. Also, it should be capitalized. But it shouldn't. It could not be capitalized. Yeah, it's written. It's not correct. That's not how you write that. It's not martial law, because that's martial from like a marshal, which I'm actually not sure where the word comes from. Like a marshal of the army. That's a rank, like a colonel or lieutenant. Yeah. That's oh my god. I got confused for a moment there. Yeah, Mars, it's exactly like that. like that's the word Mars or planet. That's exactly what it is. But that's not how you write that. It's martial. It comes from Mars. It's like a Martian, or yeah, the martial. I'm actually not sure how the rules in English work for AL as opposed to AIN, like Terran. Terran is a specific thing of a person from Terra, which is our world, whereas terrestrial would be from. The adjectives have specific rules in English, and I'm not versed in that. But either way, it is al, but it's not that. That's not correct. The point is, no, it wouldn't be martial law because you can fucking defend your country with especially the United States. You know what? Actually, the United States has a very robust constitution for country defense, I suppose, for defense of your own country in comparison to other countries. Your sovereignty is always assured because your freaking military has a different rule set than the rest of the country. So if your head of state is gone, actually that's not the reason. Other countries do that as well. But there's so many reasons why it works a little bit better for the American democracy, or whatever you want to call it, elections anyway. There's so many, because he's also equating. Did you notice? I know what I'm saying. I know that it's not democracy just because you have elections. And I was saying before that that's specifically the center point of the game. It isn't to institute democracy. It is institute elections. Because democracy is a process. Elections is an actual thing that you can just do. It doesn't mean you have democracy because of it. But either way, the point is that just because you have democracies, none of this makes any sense. And at least it's not as wrong. Well, it is wrong because Marshall is written incorrectly. But it is not as wrong as I thought it was, because it wouldn't make any sense for Kansas to come in and institute martial law. No, I would institute martial law to defend Kansas. But the thing is, like, a state of war. How? So that doesn't make any sense from any perspective. What are they trying to say here? I'm trying to read what the writers wanted to say here. It doesn't make any sense. In the when the United States went to war, the last war that involved the United States territory, which was the United States mainland, I should say, which was Second World War. The martial law wasn't imposed. But state of war was declared, or there's a specific thing that the United States says, whereas it's basically the same as total war, whereas what basically means that every citizen is responsible for a war duty. It's kind of complicated because it depends on each country, but there's like a certain thing that happened. But it wasn't even martial law. Martial law is the suspension of the normal. And it's not written like that. It's martial law. It's the suspension of normal democratic processes for the reasons of law, specifically law, because the judicial process still exists, and it's the legislative process that is changed. And so you can pass laws. I'm not actually sure about the specific details in the United States, but basically the principle is that you can pass certain laws that don't correspond to, for example, the Constitution, or for example, freedom of speech, the First Amendment, or just basic rights and all that sort of stuff. You can pass laws that don't constitute to the normal, that don't abide to the normal democratic process. That's what martial law is. The military comes in and says, we're going to do this because we need. I don't know if there's any counter or safeguards in the United States Constitution about why they would do that, but for example, in Portugal, we have a specific law that allows us to declare state of emergency, or is it another state? There's a couple of states, and it basically allows the parliament. There's there's different things, but it basically allows the parliament to pass laws that don't abide to the Constitution, as long as it is with the intent of solving whatever the emergency is. So if you have they're invading Portugal, let's declare a state of emergency, and so we declare laws or pass laws. This declaring laws, it's a misunderstanding of what laws are. We pass laws in the parliament that allow for us to fight whatever's going on, and make sure that people don't invade our territory. Basically, that's the principle of it. Then martial law, I think, might be the same. It's not just now it's the military is now the leader and they can pass whatever they like for whatever reason. Although it might still work like that, because if there are no safeguards, and knowing how the United States works, probably there are no safeguards. Yeah, but still. Anyway, shut up. You didn't write martial law properly. So I don't even... What up? Shut up. You don't...
But no, I don't toy with my society or with the lives of my people. I protect them from lunatics like you. That's why you have to die, Rangers. That's why this has to end here.
The subtext here is specifically he gets to decide who is his people, and he doesn't protect, obviously, everybody, and so that is where it comes in. He decides who are his people, and the refugees are not his people, so he doesn't need to protect them, and that's why it's not a democracy, because the people, whoever, his people or otherwise, the people don't all get the same saying. That's, yeah.
Marshals! Attack!
And we start combat. All right. Okay, so you have a lot of armor. I can help with that, so I will. I can't help from here, unfortunately. That is very, very unfortunate. Oh, I get cover from the tank. That is lovely. 4 action points. I was gonna say, I foresee... Let's move up. 2 action points, 1 action point. I don't like it. Let's see that if I rally. The tank resisted rally. Really? Either way, I want to be a little bit closer because I really don't want to die. And I need to do something about that tank. Because it's got a lot of spikes. And we can't have a tank with spikes. Let's see. Is it better to shoot with that? Yeah. Oh, no. Wait. That doesn't allow me to shoot. Wait. What? Why doesn't it auto... I have maximum snipers. Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with that. It doesn't allow me to take a shot to the armor. Let's see. Immobilizes the target chassis. Reduces the target by 75% target armor. Let's go with the chassis shot. That is a little bit of a critical. It wasn't too good, but it was something. Let's hope that he doesn't die, although he might. Let's get the tank. 95. Minus 65. Why does it still have so much armor? We have line of sight over there, but not everywhere. We have line of sight on some of them. I'm not sure if this is gonna go well. Also, I should have had a nuke, but now it's too late. Is it too late? I don't think it is too late. I mean, hopefully it is not. But let's see. It's down here, right? Nokazuka, yeah. And now I need to reload. It only uses 4 action points. And I can do a nuke strike. What? Charge up this ability. Yep. I will do that. Oh my god. Okay. It is a little bit... It does a little bit of damage. This is better, isn't it? Yeah, this is just better than attacking over there. Let's go for it. Wait, were we supposed to get that vehicle? Because I didn't get that impression. And you just killed the Patriarch with a single shot. That's it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It is. That is it. Yeah. Okay, so these guys need a little bit of love. These guys need a little bit of love as well. And then I think I will love them a little bit more. Even though that means that Anna is gonna die, but she's behind full cover, whereas Josh isn't. So let's see what I can do here. Yes, the sounds of a lot. It's just why would you design it like that? What is wrong? What? Oh boy. Okay, we got Jennifer, who can't do much, but can get herself some cover, and I kind of want to. Let's go ahead and do that. And I think she's gonna be all right. Even if my voice somehow isn't. We're gonna save you because we're gonna use another nuke, and maybe we're gonna use another nuke. You are not gonna be able to do anything, so I'm just gonna ambush. Then you will be able to do something. That's a shot. It's 9 action points. 9 action points everywhere. 9 action points. If I'm lucky, I will actually be able to kill you and then take a shot there. But it's unlikely. Oh! Oh. I hate it. I hate it. Okay, defend. And then we have Scotchmo, who wasn't needed after all. I wasn't expecting to need him. I was completely okay with not having a full team. But let's see how this turns out. Here they come. They have been run over. They're shooting at Jennifer. That was Danny in the back. They really are shooting at Jennifer. Thank you. Oh no, they killed Lucia. Of course they did. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. So yeah, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Lucia just keeps dying. It's just how life goes for them. So I'm gonna say the tank is gonna kill that guy. Maybe? Although I doubt it. There's a couple of I mean, that could be a thing. I don't know how well it's gonna work if I shoot the explosives instead of shooting the enemy. But I think I'm gonna do that because Anna's here. Thank you. Angela finally taking shots. Wow. I am very, very surprised by that. Okay, Anna, can you shoot there? Not with that. Can you shoot there? No. You can't? Seriously? 4. Let's go with 3. Yeah. Yep, that was very useful. Very useful. Should not have done that. Let's just get Lucia back up. Because Lucia at least can shoot somebody. And get some revenge. This is the last one. 95. Okay. A little bit less than 90. That was definitely not what happened. Wait. Okay. Okay, Anna. Let's go up here. Really didn't do a good job there. But, that's fine. Let's take you out. I was a little bit dangerous on that explosive. I'm gonna need a little bit of positioning here. And I don't have another shot. That's fine. We will be... No, it is not. It is not fine. Josh hasn't fired yet, but it almost... We almost didn't have enough.
All in a day's work.
All in a day's work.
Gotta hand it to you. You're a bunch of tough sons of bitches. Too bad you're not smart enough to see that you're dooming Colorado. Who's gonna hold things together when I'm gone? You? Your red-headed friend? Ha! Not one of you is hard enough to do what needs to be done.
A hard leader thinks hard is the only way to do things. A smart leader finds other ways.
If only you were smart instead of just a smartass. You haven't saved my people. You've killed them.
I did kill a lot of them, yeah. But also they deserved it because they were jerks, as we saw. But, yeah. That's why I'm saying it's not about ideology. There's no ideology here. I mean, there is, obviously, but the point is, no, it's not the principle. It's not principled, I suppose. Let's see. We have 3 options here. The end can justify the means, Buchanan. You can't build a just society by doing unjust things. Yeah, he never... Is he gonna say... If I say that, is he gonna say that I don't want to build a just society? It's a new world, Patriarch. It's time to try new things. You don't care about your people. All you care is holding on to power. Let's go with that one, because that is at least a little bit of an understanding of what's going on.
I had to hold on to power. The job wasn't done. And do you think you'll be any different? Those highfalutin ideals of yours are gonna go right out the window once you get a taste for it.
Yeah, no ideals, mate. Just none.
Won't be long either. I can see it in your eyes. The kind of person who takes power with a gun doesn't give it up without a bullet. Anyway, good goddamn luck. Whatever you do, you'll need it. Now what are you gonna do with me?
Good question. We can hand the Patriarch to the mob. We can exile the Patriarch. We can ask him, what do you think? Or we can arrest him, which is... you know what? I think I was gonna say that... I was gonna reply about him saying the kind of person who takes power with a gun. And I was like, yeah, but it's not for us. The power is not for us. I think we're going back to Arizona. I hope we're going back to Arizona. Yeah, the power is to the mob. So the people outside are calling your name. Who are we to deny them?
The people, huh? So be it. Let's go.
Yeah, but give me that hammer, because...
Well, that's that. So what's the plan now, cowboys? You gonna stay here and help me keep this place peaceful?
We have 4 options here. We want to invite General Woodson and the Arizona Rangers to move here. We can use all the help we can get. That would solve a little, maybe. I don't know if it would solve the problem with back in Arizona. We've come to feel that Colorado is our home. We will send supplies back to Arizona, but we're staying here. Or we're gonna grab all the supplies we can from the Patriarch stores and head back to Arizona. Or we are gonna keep heading east and see what things look like beyond Colorado. Oh. That's an interesting... I like that. It's not necessarily the smartest decision, but it's kind of poetic and interesting. This is like the Rangers from Arizona are just coming in and bringing down tyrants and killing a lot of people in the process.
Adventure and glory, huh? And you're gonna leave poor Angie here by herself to clean up the mess. Huh. I guess I shouldn't have expected anything else from a bunch of gunslingers like yourselves. And really, it's better this way. Adventure and glory types get itchy during peacetime and end up starting more trouble than they stop.
See? Happy ending after all.
Well, look after yourselves. And don't forget to write.
You head back to Ranger HQ and start prepping for a long and bloody journey. Oh. I can't control the camera. They don't know in Arizona. Oh.
Arizona, what we did in Colorado on the trail. If we saved him or betrayed him, if we did the job we went for or we failed. Hard times in Arizona with the Rangers and the settlers giving ground. See the raiders and militia, and it seemed we'd lose the good life that we found. Then Buchanan made his offer, find my kids and I will help you save your land. So we rode for Colorado, praying that he'd be an honest man. In Denver we found Valor, a son who didn't live up to his name. He turned against his father, siding with the old man's rivals seeking fame. Though these rivals tried to stop us, we captured Valor like we said we would. Brought him home to Daddy, we made it pretty clear just where he stood. Then we made our way to Aspen to find Buchanan's misbegotten son. The sick old name of victory, we pulled the legs off humans just for fun. Wasn't easy fighting the urge to make pay for what he done. But we brought him back alive, locked him up to the relief of everyone. On the track halfway to Kansas, we found Buchanan's daughter make her plan to conquer Colorado with the help of desperados, gangs, and clans. Though she swore she'd not surrender, we promised not to end her, come what may. So we shot the folks around her, then bound her and we took her from the fray. In the end, it became clear that Buchanan was no better than his kid. If we let him stay in power, Colorado would be heading for the skid. Defying orders from back home, we gave him to the mob and took his throne. Then we hit the trail to nowhere and vowed that forever we would roam. They don't know in Arizona what we did in Colorado on the trail. If we saved him or betrayed him, if we did the job we went for or we failed. But when the winter turns to spring, the news newcomers bring, they'll know that the Arizona Rangers got lost in Colorado in the snow.
What an ending. As promised, you handed the Patriarch over to the people he wronged, the refugees and lower classes of the city, who were all too happy to have him. They organized a show trial, but the outcome was preordained. Patriarch was sentenced to die of exposure in Pillory Square. He remained defiant as they placed him in the stocks, and as the people gleefully pelted him with snow and rocks. To the end, the Patriarch insisted that he had done everything for the good of his nation, and he regretted nothing. He lasted nearly a day in the pillory before freezing to death, far longer than any ordinary man. 'Cause he ate all the good food! You decided to head east, leaving Colorado behind you to fend for itself. Some of your recruits chose to stay, but the core of Team November stood firm, loyal to each other above all. You struck out across the plains, chasing legends of old America. Without any aid from Colorado, the Rangers of Arizona struggled to survive. At last, General Woodson ordered them to pull up roots and move on. Some of the Rangers believed he had a plan, but if he did, he kept it to himself. The Arizona Rangers set out for parts unknown, and nobody knows where they went. Angela Death remained in Colorado Springs to serve as a peacekeeper. After the fall of the Patriarch, the refugee population rose to dominate Colorado Springs. They wanted revenge on the 100 families, which Angie wouldn't allow. Soon, Angie and her remaining rangers faced an insurgency in the city and a rising tide of revenge killings. She did what she could to hold things together, but without your help, she continued to lose ground. The rest of the Patriarch's nation collapsed, and his alliance of cities and cults scattered to the winds. Isolated and alone, they'd be easier prey for the savage gangs of the plains, or predators closer to home. In Denver, oil drilling came to an end. Because you destroyed the Gippers, the cities and towns of Colorado were left without a reliable source of fuel. Your actions at the machine commune convinced the robots to take a chance on humanity by welcoming human settlers into the airport. Denver is now a safe haven for those with nowhere else to go. Run with inhuman kindness. Ran with inhuman? Ran, yeah, maybe, I don't know. The Regan AI reimagined or remained in the MI tower, sad and alone, forever calling for his beloved Nancy's to take him home. Reagan, maybe, I don't know. Led by the gift, the breathers withdrew into the Rocky Mountains. They kept their distance from the people of Colorado, moving higher and higher into the mountains as generations passed. In time, the breathers became a legend to the people of Colorado. Some said they were evolving into a new form of humanity. Others didn't believe that they ever existed at all. As Colorado Springs died and the city of Aspen was forgotten, the old resort town went dark forever, covered by snow and never reclaimed. After their humiliating defeat at the hands of the Rangers, the gangs of the Savage Council fled back to the plains. Within a year, most of the survivors were dead or enslaved by rivals. But the Savage Plains got their name with good reason. Everyone knew that other gangs would rise, and eventually they'd cast their eyes on Colorado again. Shortly after you left Colorado, Liberty Buchanan vanished from her cell. Nobody was surprised. She'd always had admirers in Colorado Springs. She resurfaced a few weeks later, commanding a company of her father's former marshals and loyalists. Winning a series of swift victories, she took control of some outlying towns. With Colorado in chaos, Liberty has a damn good chance of reconquering her father's nation. Flab and his monster army maintained control of the bazaar, an unexpected island of stability in a region remained by you and your team. Flab took great satisfaction in the knowledge that he had outlasted the Patriarch. Once again, he had weathered a terrible storm, when even the most powerful men in Colorado had not. Furious with how Team November dealt with the Patriarch, Jody returned to Arizona, glad to see the last of Colorado's snow and ice. But though she did her best to help her folks when she got back, without the Patriarch's promised supplies, their farm failed, and they were killed by starving raiders, leaving Jody a bitter and angry woman. Freed from the brig by Team November after the coup of the Patriarch was complete, Kwon left Colorado Springs in disgust. Eventually, my god, man, you are drunk until the end. He should have, helped rebuild Colorado, but no, he was just loyal to the Patriarch, not to the people. Anyway, eventually he became a security consultant for the Iron Thunder Arapaho, and never had anything to do with the Rangers again. With things with the Patriarch finally settled, Lucia decided to remain a ranger, continuing to patrol and keep the peace, and to serve as their liaison to the 100 families. After years of loyal service, the Rangers retired Morningstar and allowed him to drive his Kodiak Shell on his long dreamed of journey to rediscover America. No one knows where he went or how far he got, but there probably aren't any communists there anymore. Returning back home, Giuseppe did her best to help the Rangers keep Arizona together, but without the Patriarch's promised supplies, it all fell apart, and she went back to Darwin, where she organized its defenses. It's a town. It's actually a real-life town, but also a town in Wasteland too. Nobody cried when Fish Lips died. Some of his old crew, however, dug him up and ate his liver for old time's sake. I don't remember who he was. After things resolved, the Rangers noticed Scotchmo was no longer with them. They searched every bar in Colorado Springs, but never found him. Some say he's been seen drinking in saloons in Kansas and points east, but these rumors are unconfirmed. With that, the story of Team November comes to an end. For good or ill, you changed Colorado forever, and its people will live with the consequences. Oh, they won't. It's the end of the game. They won't live. They're dead. But the story of the Rangers goes on. Yeah, it's Wasteland 4, maybe, where we go east even further. Also, soundtrack is awesome all the time, but I would like to point out, though, that it hits differently. It hits differently when the consequences are bad in Wasteland 2 or Wasteland 3 than it does, for example, in a Fallout New Vegas or a Fallout 1 and 2. or in a Baldur's Gate or something like that, because the story of Wasteland and the story of such a combat-oriented game where everybody is sort of scummy a little, or it's like there's no clear people who want to do good things, there's no clear aims for everybody. It's just, we're dealing with a fucked up situation. This game, more than in Wasteland 2, actually, this game really strikes a tone with how everything is fucked up. There's a difference between the personal storyline of a Dragon Age, for example, or a Mass Effect, and the less personal storyline of a game like this. And I don't know if I like it or dislike it, but I do note that difference. When, like, obviously we didn't get good endings for nearly anything. And if you want to see what other ending, if you want to spoil it for yourself, and you want to see what other endings there are, there's probably wiki pages with all the ending vignettes and what you need to do to unlock them and all this sort of stuff. And sometimes after you play the game a few times already, it's fun to go there and see what could be and what extra stuff is there to unlock that you didn't see. But it's really inconsequential at the end of the day, because it's just somebody telling a story, and some stories are bad, and some stories bad, not in badly written, but bad as in, bad things happen to good people, and that's how it is. What I'm saying is there's a little bit less authorship. Yeah, authorship is probably what I'm trying to say. Authorship from the player in a game like this, even though there obviously are a lot of consequences to all of our choices. And yeah, I wish I don't know. I wish I felt a little bit more attached, is what I'm saying. But it's also, at the same time, it's kind of cool to see, it's enjoyable to see bad endings sometimes. And in the end of this playthrough, I'm okay with some of the bad endings that we got, because we got a bunch of bad endings for a lot of people. I also made the choices I made also were on purpose, especially at the end there. I knew things wouldn't go well if I went east. But that definitely gave the song. I loved the song. The song was just great. I loved it. It was awesome. I muted myself so I could listen to it, but I was laughing. There were some twists and turns in there that I just really enjoyed, and the ending was fantastic. I loved it. But yeah, I made the choice just for the rule of cool, not really for let's be good here. I think the best choice there would probably be to send supplies back home and stay here. I just didn't want to choose that. But because I'm doing a Let's Play, my choices, obviously I could just reload and do other choices, but because I'm doing a Let's Play, my choices are also influenced by the fact that I have people watching. And I am eternally grateful that you have stuck with me until the end, at least at the end of this episode. And hopefully you enjoyed it just as much as I did, or even more. Who knows? Maybe my ramblings made it better, or made it worse. I don't know. But hopefully you enjoyed it. It has been a pleasure. It has been a blast. I will be playing this game again in the future when DLCs come out, and we'll see how that turns out, because I don't know nobody at the time of recording knows anything about the DLCs. So it's gonna be that. Thank you so much for joining me. I have been Colonel RPG, and this has been Wasteland 3. My name probably appears here in the backer credits. Oh, I could do this. It's okay. It's sorted normally. So yeah, my name probably appears over here because I was a backer, a pretty early backer as well. I don't know if this is just everybody that bought the game. Right click also skips forward, so I need to be careful here. It's the CO. I'm saying I'm doing this because I know it's the end of the episode, and I am Colonel RPG, and this has been Wasteland 3. So I want you to see that I am indeed Colonel RPG. Although this looks like my real name might show here instead, and if it does, it doesn't start with CO. So I don't know actually. Let's see. Ooh. Colin? Colonel? Commissar? That's not me. But it should be over there somewhere. Yep. It's my real name that shows up in here. If it does at all, because I think maybe there's a certain backer level where your name shows up in credits. And I don't know if I paid that level, if I went for the cheaper one. I never remember. But anyway, yes, this has been Wasteland 3. I really hope you've enjoyed it. And let me know in the comments about that. And I'll see you in the next Let's Play of Wasteland 3, or other Let's Plays, because I do a lot of Let's Plays as well. So, thank you so much. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.